The world has witnessed strange and eerie discoveries that defy explanation. In this video, we will see some of the archaeological mysteries that have intrigued humanity throughout time. Number 1. The Terracotta Army. Discovered in 1974 by a farmer named Yan while drilling a well in Xi'an, China, it represents an astonishing collection of life-sized statues. Built during the reign of Emperor Qin Shi Huang, this army is a monument to the precision and centralized management of the Qin dynasty. Composed of thousands of unique human and animal figures, it reveals the emperor's ambition to have an immortal imperial guard to protect him in the afterlife. Despite their authenticity, the original weapons and armor were stolen shortly after their creation, leaving the statues vulnerable to time and looters. This impressive archaeological find highlights the designer's attention to detail and provides a unique insight into the military power and strategy of ancient China. Although the Terracotta Army is a marvel of imperial design, the exact location of Qin Shi Huang's tomb remains an unsolved mystery. The emperor's legacy spans unification and conflict, and the army offers a fascinating glimpse into Qin Shi Huang's funerary vision. Despite the loss of the original weapons, these statues intertwined with the mystery of the emperor remain an invaluable source of information about the ancient history of China and the mentality of its rulers. Number 2. The Screaming Mummy. She is an especially terrifying-looking mummy, with her face distorted as if she was screaming in pain during her final moments. Another detail that caught our attention is that she appeared wrapped in sheepskin, considered impure by the ancient Egyptians. It was also discovered that her hands and feet had been tied for some unknown reason. Several studies showed that the man had been embalmed quickly, without the usual removal of the brain and internal organs from him. It seemed like someone was in a hurry to bury him. It is believed that unknown Mani may have been poisoned or buried alive. There is a theory that suggests that he does not belong to Pentar, one of the sons of Ramses III, who was forced to ingest poison for having participated in a plot against his father. Number 3. The Lead Sarcophagus of Notre Dame de Paris. The Lead Sarcophagus of Notre Dame Cathedral, also known as Our Lady of Paris, was discovered during restoration works after the devastating fire of 2019. Two mysterious sarcophagi were found under the nave of the cathedral and, after months of investigation, details about the people buried in them were revealed. The first sarcophagus is believed to contain the ashes of Antoine de la Porte, a high priest, while the second houses the remains of an unknown man nicknamed Le Cavalier, presumably a horseman. Although these discoveries shed light on the history of individuals from different eras, there is still much to learn about their lives and historical implications. Investigations revealed that Antoine de la Porte led a sedentary life with signs of food and alcohol abuse. His royalty-adorned burial site suggests an aristocratic heritage. On the other hand, the second sarcophagus, which contains Le Cavalier, presents notable differences, indicating that these people lived in different times. The discovery of these sarcophagi has added a new chapter to the history of Notre Dame Cathedral and has generated interest in the life and society of those buried within. Archaeological research continues to unravel more details about these historical figures and their connection to the rich history of the cathedral and the city of Paris. Number 4. The Bust of Nefertiti. The Bust of Nefertiti, a magnificent work carved in limestone and covered with painted stucco, immortalizes Nefertiti, the great royal wife of the Egyptian pharaoh Akhenaten. Discovered by German archaeologist Ludwig Borchardt in Egypt, this bust dates to around 1345 BC and is attributed to the sculptor Thutmose. However, controversy surrounds its acquisition, as Borchardt may have engaged in intentional fraud by misleading Egyptian officials about the true nature of the bust. The display of the Bust of Nefertiti in Berlin since 1923 has been the subject of debate and requests for repatriation by Egypt. A newly discovered document reveals that Borchardt misled Egyptian officials about the quality of the bust and provided misleading information. This revelation has intensified the dispute over the ownership of the Bust of Nefertiti, and Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities has requested its return or, at least, its temporary repatriation. The controversy raises ethical considerations about the repatriation of cultural heritage and highlights the importance of addressing disputes over the possession of historical artifacts. Egypt's request is part of a global debate over the return of cultural artifacts seized during colonial times or in archaeological excavations, and Germany's refusal to return the bust highlights the complexity of these issues. Number 5. Aimaro Figures. The figures are an intriguing archaeological find discovered by Valdemar J. Rudd, a German amateur archaeologist, in Aimaro, Guanajuato, Mexico. These figures consist of approximately 33,000 tiny ceramic representations that challenge conventional perceptions of history and archaeology. Rudd claimed that the figures resembled dinosaurs, which has sparked controversy and debates over their authenticity. Some consider the figures to be anachronistic and question the coexistence of humans and dinosaurs. However, skeptics point to the lack of formal archaeological excavations and proper documentation, which has raised questions about the veracity of the findings. Controversy also centers on Rudd's motivations and tactics, suggesting that the figures could be modern fabrications to support a dramatic narrative. The Aimaro figures raise questions about the relationship between humans and dinosaurs, but the lack of solid scientific support and the absence of formal investigations underscore the need for a more rigorous archaeological approach to evaluate their authenticity. Number 6. Loco Cave. Nestled in the picturesque landscapes of southwestern France is the extraordinary Loco Cave, famous for its captivating Paleolithic cave paintings. Discovered by 4 teenagers on September 12, 1940, the walls of the cave house almost 2,000 figures of animals, humans, and abstract signs. The collection includes deer, cows, bison, cats, a bird, a rhinoceros, and a bear, all engraved with great detail and artistic finesse. These paintings offer a vivid image of the ancient world and the sacred act of painting. In 1948, the cave was opened to the public, but the daily influx threatened the delicate paintings. In 1963, it was decided to close Loco to preserve its valuable heritage. 2 decades later, an exact replica called Loco II emerged, offering visitors the chance to experience the magic of the cave without endangering the original works of art. The Loco paintings feature prominently in art history, and one particularly striking work, known as the Crossed Bison, shows the painter's extraordinary skill in capturing realism and using perspective. Despite these preservation efforts, the Loco Cave still faces new threats, such as the growth of mold, fungi, and bacteria that can damage the paintings and erase their timeless beauty. Number 7. The Rosetta Stone. The Rosetta Stone's journey from a modest slab of stone to a key piece of historical knowledge has spanned centuries. Discovered in Egypt in 1799, this stone has become an essential artifact for unraveling the mysteries of the past. The Rosetta Stone is notable for its trilingual inscription in Greek, which was crucial to understanding the complicated hieroglyphics that had baffled researchers for years. Its importance lies in its role as a key to understanding the symbolic writing of ancient Egypt, which unites past and present and opens the door to a deep exploration of the history and culture of this fascinating civilization. Scholars deciphered hieroglyphs using the Greek part of the stone, unlocking the secrets of Egypt's ancient mysteries. This artifact marks a turning point in the search for human knowledge. In addition to its linguistic achievements, the Rosetta Stone offers an extraordinary glimpse into a fascinating society that continues to pique people's interest today. This ancient relic provides us with a valuable window into the customs, beliefs, and linguistic subtleties of an ancestral community shrouded in a halo of mystery. The Rosetta Stone transcends its status as a static object and becomes a living witness of the immense power that linguistic keys can have to reveal the secrets of our past and better understand our present. By opening historical doors, he not only produced hieroglyphs, but also united different cultures and epochs. The Rosetta Stone became a symbol of this linguistic convergence and a metaphorical key to unlocking the stories of human heritage. The decipherment of the Rosetta Stone was a pivotal moment in Egyptology, led by Jean-François Champollion, a French scholar. His achievement demonstrated the power of interdisciplinary teamwork and linguistic competence in discovering ancient civilizations. Number 8. The Ashurbanipal Library is an archaeological treasure discovered in the 19th century by Austin Henry Layard in the ancient city of Nineveh, Iraq. Composed of more than 25,000 fragments of clay tablets, it reveals the intellectual wealth of ancient Assyria and the literary passions of King Ashurbanipal. The monarch, noted for his military and cultural achievements, sent scribes throughout his empire in search of literary treasures, building a library that ranged from chronicles and religious texts to the Epic of Gilgamesh. This impressive collection, including literary masterpieces and treatises on medicine and astronomy, offers deep insights into Assyrian culture, religion, and intellectual landscape. In 612 BC, during the siege of Nineveh, the palace that housed the library was burned down. However, the heat partially cooked the slats, preserving them as a preservative rather than destroying them. The Ashurbanipal Library is a unique testimony that has stood the test of time, inviting us to explore the history of Assyria and the king's passion for knowledge through these ancient literary fragments. Number 9. Elongated Skulls in 1928. Julio Tello, a pioneering explorer deeply interested in the mysteries of Antarctica, undertook a daring expedition to the frozen continent. In Antarctica, Tello's team explored extreme conditions in search of geological and archaeological evidence. Surprisingly, they discovered elongated skulls under the ice, different from the common human shape. These skulls were reminiscent of ancient civilizations such as the Paracas culture and the Egyptians. This challenging find raised questions about Antarctic history, suggesting the possibility of a previously unknown ancient civilization. The skulls became topics of intense study and debate in the scientific community. Number 10. The Silver Pharaoh. In 1940, the Frenchman Pierre Monti made an unprecedented archaeological discovery that earned the recognition of the scientific community. What he found was the tomb of the ancient Egyptian pharaoh Susneps I. The discovery occurred in the city of Tennis, where the crypt was almost intact. Susneps first ruled from 1039 to 991 BC. His original name, Susenzai, means the star that appears in the beloved city of Ammon. His burial demonstrated great magnificence commensurate with his importance. In the tomb was not only the pharaoh, but also his wife, two other pharaohs before his reign, a prince and a priest. Looking at his sarcophagus, we will know that he was called the Silver Pharaoh. The outer sarcophagus was made of red granite, and the middle one was made of black granite, both of which had been reused or usurped. The mummy of Susneps was inside a third coffin made of solid silver, something unusual in ancient Egypt, since having to be imported, it was a rarer and more valuable metal than gold. Additionally, the coffin had rich gold decoration, including a funerary mask. The entire outer shell was found surprisingly in very good condition. Its interior, on the other hand, was completely disintegrated, indicating that, despite the luxury, the best preparations were not made for the preservation of the body. Number 11. King Tut's Dagger. When researchers discovered King Tut's tomb in the early 1920s, they found several former chambers containing thousands of artifacts, furniture, statues, costumes, chariots, and even paintings. But the most important artifact found was an iron dagger. This dagger was more than 30 centimeters long and was made from an iron meteorite, which has left scientists speechless since its discovery. Several studies have presented opposing theories about its origin. One research suggests that it was made in Anatolia, in modern-day Turkey, while another study states that the terrestrial origin of the dagger is unknown. Iron smelting did not exist during the very brief reign of King Tutankhamun, 1333 to 1323 BC. It is theorized that the mineral used may have come from a meteorite, but this is all speculation at best. Number 12. The Fire Mummies. Unlike the Egyptians, ancient Filipino tribes had a unique way of treating their dead. They turned them into fiery mummies. This involved subjecting the bodies to intense fire instead of embalming them. When someone was about to die, they were given a lot of salt to dehydrate the body from the inside. After dying, the bodies were roasted for weeks or months. Sometimes they even put hot embers inside them to burn them from the inside. Once completely dry, the bodies were made into a kind of compact human jerky and placed in small lemon-shaped coffins called kamanzi. These coffins were hidden in remote caves in the mountains. When the Spanish colonizers arrived in the 15th century, these practices disappeared due to the Catholic burial customs they brought. However, the Caban caves, where the mummies were found, were later rediscovered. So far, more than 300 fire mummies have been found in these caves, some up to 100 years old with tribal tattoos visible on their skin. Number 13. The Antikythera Mechanism. The Antikythera mechanisms are a set of ancient devices, including a planetary mechanism, discovered in the Antikythera shipwreck in Greece in 1901. These mechanisms are believed to date back to the 1st century BC and are considered one of the earliest known examples of gear technology. The devices are complex astronomical and calendar tools that could predict planetary positions and eclipses. The level of engineering and astronomical knowledge required for its construction suggests an advanced understanding of mechanics and astronomy in ancient times. Although the exact culture that created these mechanisms is unknown, their discovery has provided valuable information about the technological sophistication of ancient civilizations. Despite decades of study, the precise functionality of the Antikythera mechanisms has been a challenge. Modern studies and the application of technologies such as computed tomography have revealed hidden details and contributed to a better understanding of its internal structure. The mechanisms remain a fascinating enigma, representing an exceptional combination of technical skill and astronomical knowledge at a time when such advances were thought to be limited. Its study remains vital to unraveling the complexity of the technological and scientific skills of ancient Mediterranean civilizations. Number 14. Klarksdorp Spheres. The enigmatic nature of the Klarksdorp spheres has generated numerous theories and debates, but to date, there is no scientific consensus on their origin. While some maintain that they are simply natural concretions, others have speculated that they could be advanced cultural artifacts or even evidence of ancient extraterrestrial technology. The lack of conclusive evidence and the mystery surrounding these spheres have contributed to their status as an unsolved enigma in archaeology and geology. The discovery of the Klarksdorp spheres highlights the importance of approaching interpretations of archaeological and geological finds with caution. While it is tempting to consider sensational explanations, the lack of conclusive evidence and the need to apply rigorous scientific methods underscore the importance of continuing to research and examine these areas in the context of current scientific knowledge and evidence.